We all good? Cool. All right. Tonight, the light of an ancient supernova will finally reach Earth. Despite being suffused with light, surprisingly little of the universe is visible to the naked eye. Our celestial models have always been constrained to the limits of observation. Our tenure on the universe's largest known rocky planet is as brief as our habitat is narrow, and what we consider truly Earth-like conditions will prevail for less than 10% of the planet's overall atmosphere and the planet's overall lifespan. With this in mind, there is no reason to delay our departure into the universe. I have few requests for what happens to me after I die. I don't want a funeral, people mourning me saying they always wish they'd known me better. I certainly don't want my body resting under the epitaph, loving wife and mother. And I most definitely don't want my ashes resting in some decorative urn in the corner of someone's living room, sure to make for uncomfortable conversation at family gatherings. However, the one request I do have is rather extravagant. I want my ashes scattered in space. Partially for the sheer romanticism of it, and partially because I quite enjoy the idea of my ashes being potentially capable of cutting off someone's extremities when traveling at orbital velocity. When I die, send me to the cosmos. When I die, send me home. Infinite Space, a program highlighting the intricacies of the universe and its living matter, featuring the works of A.V. Christie, Dean Erskine, Nicholas Cheatham, and Tracy K. Smith. We are a part of it, not guests. Is it us, or what contains us? How can it be anything but an idea, something teetering on the spine of the number I? It is elegant, but coy. It avoids the blunt ends of our fingers as we point, and we have gone looking for it everywhere, in Bibles and bandwidth blooming like a wound from the ocean floor. Still, it resists the matter of false versus real. Unconvinced by our zeal, it is unappeasable. It is like some novels, vast and unreadable. We like to think of it as parallel to what we know, only bigger. One man against the authorities. One man against a city of zombies. One man who is not, in fact, a man. Sent to understand the caravan of men now chasing him like red ants let loose down the pants of America. Man with a ship to catch, a payload to drop. This message going out to all of space. Though, maybe it's more like life below the sea. Silent. Buoyant. Bizarrely benign. Relics of some outmoded design. Some like to imagine a cosmic mother watching through a spray of stars, mouthing yes, yes, as we toddle towards the light, and biting her lip if we teeter at some ledge. Longing to sweep us to her breast, she hopes for the best, while the father storms through adjacent rooms, ranting with the force of kingdom come, not caring anymore what might snap us up in its jaw. Sometimes what I see is a library in a rural community. All of the big, tall shelves in the open room and the pencils in a cup at circulation, gnawed on by the entire population. The books have lived here all along, belonging for weeks at a time to one or another in the brief sequence of family names, and speaking, at night mostly, to a face, a pair of eyes, the most remarkable lies. Tina says, what if dark matter is like the space between people when what holds them together isn't exactly love? And I think that sounds right. How strong the pull can be, as if something that knows better won't let you drift apart that easily. We move through it, bound, sensing it snatch up what we mean to say and turn it over in its hand like glass sifted from the sea. Tina also says dark matter is just a theory. Something we know is there but can't completely prove. We feel it snatch up what we mean to say, and it walks the shore, watching that refracted light dance back and forth before tossing whatever it was back into the surf. Only 1.3 light seconds into our voyage, and we have already reached the limits of human exploration. For the moon is mankind's only footfall on an alien world. With summer temperatures reaching 27 degrees Celsius, Mars has the kindest climate of our planetary neighbors. Without a spacesuit, you could survive here for tens of seconds. On Mercury, you could only survive 1 second, and on Venus, not even a spacesuit would help you. Death is coming. And you must build a starship to take you to Venus. Make it from a ketchup bottle, a flashlight coil, a penny, the cat's bell, mom's charm bracelet. They say that planet is torment. Whipped by circular winds and choked in vitriol clouds, but no. When you get there, it is a light in the sky, and I am with you. If you find nothing else, borrow the pleated wing of a winter moth lighter than dust. The canals of Mars beseech various oxides, vast dust storms of a dulled red, a daytime warmth that only reaches so far. Let's call these fissures canals. So we'll think of Venice as we look through our telescope as Mars comes this close in this, our anniversary year with its thin atmosphere and, to be probed, its extreme cold. Perhaps the great error is believing we're alone, that the others have come and gone, a momentary blip, when all along, space might be chock full of traffic, bursting at the seams with energy we neither see nor feel. Flush against us, living, dying, deciding, setting solid feet down on planets everywhere and bowing to the great stars that command, pitching stones at whatever are their moons. They live wondering if they are the only ones, knowing only the wish to know and the great black distance that we flicker in. Maybe the dead know. Their eyes widening at last to see the high beams of a million galaxies flick on at twilight, hearing the engines flare up, the horns not letting up, the frenzy of being. I want to be one notch below Bedlam, like a radio without a dial. Wide open so that everything floods in at once, and shut tight so that nothing escapes, not even time, which should curl in on itself and loop around like smoke. I used to think that the vacuum of space was a pacific place in which I could repose. Inhaling stardust and exhaling silent poetry. Reclining with my feet dangling from Saturn's rings, always surrounded by the things of nightmares and sweet dreams and whatever lies between. But I swear, the second the shuttle landed, the stars were singing some kind of sidereal sonata, to which the planets were dancing, giving no indication of the noise ever ceasing. When my father worked on the Hubble telescope, he said they worked like surgeons, scrubbed and sheathed in a papery green. The room a clean, cold, bright white. He'd read Larry Niven at home and drink scotch on the rocks, his eyes exhausted and pink. These were the Reagan years, when we lived with our finger on the button and struggled to see our enemies as children. My father spent whole seasons bowing before the oracle eye, hungry for what it would find. And his face lit up whenever anyone asked, and his arms would raise, as if he were weightless. Perfectly at ease in the never-ending night of space. The first few pictures came back blurred, and I felt ashamed for all the cheerful engineers, my father and his tribe. But the second time, the optics jibed. We saw to the edge of everything there is. So brutal and alive it seemed. It seemed to comprehend us back.